Broken glass, belongings gone after a rash of car break-ins. How you can avoid becoming a victim.
A state law taking the bite out of community oversight boards.
You believe they helped craft the actual language?
Yes. And it may not be necessarily everything, but key parts of it.
Why one whistleblower says members of Metro Police played a big role. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News, we are in a code red as it will feel like above triple-digit temperatures tomorrow. Brace for impact.
We are talking a heat index close to 110, and that's air you can wear and heat that you notice. And our Code Red meteorologist, Brett Looney here for Katie. And in addition to the heat, you're also looking at storms out there?
We could see a little bit of storms. I like the way you put that, air that you can wear, because that is exactly what it's going to feel like for tomorrow. So if you have any outdoor plans, just make sure to take it easy out there because it is going to be really hot. I know this is summertime in the South, born and raised in Tennessee, but still, this is going to be hot. We're talking about heat index values pushing around 110 for a lot of these areas. This is by noon right here, and I think nearly all of us, with the exception of our far eastern areas, are going to be seeing these heat index values pushing over 100. So it is going to be a very hot one for us as we head throughout the day for tomorrow. Staying well above 100 throughout most of the afternoon. This is 5 o'clock. Feels like temperatures right here. A lot of areas still about 100 to 105 or so, and then it's finally going to start to taper off a little bit once the sun goes down and we get a little bit later on into the night. But because of all that, the National Weather Service earlier today went ahead and issued this heat advisory. That's going to cover most of our counties here in Middle Tennessee, most of them in southern Kentucky too. That's going to run from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. Heat index values again pushing up to about 110 in some of these areas. There's also a chance that we could see a few isolated showers and thunderstorms too tomorrow. A lot of us are still going to stay dry, but a few of these storms, especially in our northern areas, mainly north of I-40, a few of those storms a little bit later on in the day could try to get a little bit on the strong side. I think the main concern with a couple of those storms will be the chance for some strong wind gusts. That's going to be the primary threat. We're not going to have to worry about any tornado threat with these storms tomorrow. And we could see some brief heavy rainfall. So you've seen it recently with those recent storms. Any of those bad drainage areas, those flood prone areas, we could see a little bit more flooding there if some of those stronger storms start to set up right over that area. We're at 87 right now here in Nashville. It is going to be a pretty clear night for us, not expecting anything bad as we head through the overnight hours tonight. We're going to stay dry. Radar not showing any storms close to us. Back to our northwest though, that cold front moving through is bringing in some severe thunderstorm warnings, even some tornado warnings issued for areas well to the northwest of right here. Current temperatures, they are in the 70s and 80s still. Average high temperature this time of year is 90. It's 87 here in Nashville. It's 904 and we're just 3 degrees off of our high temperature. Coming up, we'll talk more about your 7-day forecast and also get that 4th of July forecast in there too in just a bit.
I just don't understand the level of violence that we're seeing in our world now.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, victims' rights advocates are sick of violent crime in Nashville. This comes after Metro Police say a man was beaten to death in the parking lot of Topgolf. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live outside of Topgolf in East Nashville with the story tonight.
I spoke to the family of the victim earlier, who are still grieving, as you can imagine, and need space. Metro Police say the victim, Umesh Dal, was at a concert inside of Topgolf when an argument started between several people. They say that the group then went to the parking lot. That is when Metro Police say Dal tried to break up the fight. They say as a result, he was punched and kicked while on the concrete of the parking lot. They say he was taken to the hospital and later died. The suspect who kicked the victim has been identified as Bishal Rai. Verna Wyatt, a victim rights advocate, says it didn't have to come to this.
It used to be you could settle your differences and people could walk away from that. And now it's people go to the extreme. There's so much hatred inside people.
Metro Police say Rai is being held without bond. They believe there is more than one suspect. We will keep you updated on the latest developments as we have them. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In Operation Crime and Justice, smashed windows and stolen property, the result of a string of car break-ins in East Nashville. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller's live tonight to tell us how you can prevent this sort of thing from happening to you and your car.
Yes, Scott. Well, we spoke with a security expert today, and he says first things first. What you want to do is remove any obvious valuables, like right here, a laptop. Then he says, obviously, you want to shut the door, lock it, and then double check that it's locked before you head out somewhere.
A string of break-ins on Gwynn Drive and Maplewood Lane in East Nashville, leaving neighbors shaken up. A person who lives on Gwynn Drive told us it's about 20 cars. And she says it's the first time this has happened since she moved here. Fox 17 News went to security expert Curtis Watkins to learn more about what he's seeing.
In the evening times, between about 1 a.m. and about 5 a.m., in neighborhoods where there's high density of cars and where they can be under the shroud of darkness.
Fox 17 News asked Watkins if Ring doorbell cameras help, and he says they don't tend to deter people from breaking into cars at night, but can be used to locate the suspect after the fact. Watkins says that the most important thing to do is to put yourself in a position so you're not an easy target and secure your guns.
There's one thing that I do notice is that there seems to be more of a high prevalence of property criminals. Your traditional property criminals are actually engaging in violent acts.
Fortunately, the neighbors we spoke with say things have not escalated in this area so far, but it still leaves them uneasy knowing so many cars were broken into.
The people in this East Nashville neighborhood say that police reports were submitted. Now, we also spoke with some people who said that they were considering actually leaving their cars unlocked so that their windows would not get smashed. And we asked the security expert that today, and he recommends to lock your doors and to remove your valuables instead of keeping your car unlocked. Reporting live from North Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Thank you, Caitlin. Continuing Operation Crime and Justice, a Rutherford County teacher and a girls soccer coach under arrest. The school district confirms Nathan Sweet on unpaid suspension during this investigation. Sweet taught at Riverdale High School. He's accused of statutory rape and sexual exploitation of a minor.
Just ahead tonight, calls for change from within his own party. Why some top Democrats. An investigation is underway tonight into claims that Metro Police ranking officers worked to pass a bill on the state level that stripped powers from police oversight agencies across the state. It is a story that you saw first on Fox 17.
Now, Kelly Avellino speaking one-on-one with the whistleblower behind the accusations, and she's looking into what policies and trust could have been broken if the allegations are proven true.
Nearly 135,000 Nashville residents voted to create the Community Oversight Board in 2018 in the wake of a Metro officer shooting and killing Daniel Hambrick that same year.
I lost my son father because of you! Because of you!
The officer pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter.
And not a day has gone by that I have not thought about my actions.
6 years later, this 61-page whistleblower complaint alleges that MMPD command staffers worked in secret to help pass a law gutting the ability of civilian oversight boards in Tennessee, with Chief Drake allegedly knowing about it. Nashville's Now Community Review Board says it's been hamstrung since, not able to get the same police documents and body cam video to vet allegations of officer misconduct.
We witnessed one of the country's most robust forms of police oversight happening in Nashville to change before our very eyes.
That change was aided by a Nashville deputy chief and assistant chief, according to retired MMPD Internal Affairs Lieutenant Garrett Davidson. He says those higher-ups worked with legislators behind closed doors.
And that is something that I think loses the respect, the trust, and the confidence of the people they serve.
You believe they helped craft the actual language?
Yes. And it may not be necessarily everything, but key parts of it, because now they're basically able to tell the CRB to go pound sand.
Davidson says one of the command staffers was even presented an award, an engraved star in front of MMPD's entire Office of Professional Accountability.
OPA star, I think, is what it said.
Metro Police reject any claims that officers were involved in crafting or lobbying for the legislation. A statement from MMPD also says the command staffer thought he got the award for his help in resolving various issues in the relationship between OPA and the COB. The whistleblower complaint sparking backlash in the community.
If it is the case that our police department conspired with our state government to undo and undermine the will of the citizens of Nashville, freedom has not been experienced.
Amen. Mayor Freddie O'Connell agreed to calls for an independent investigation, now headed by former Memphis U.S. Attorney Edward Stanton. I took a deep dive into MMPD policies. A Metro policy analyst who asked not to be named says conduct unbecoming of an officer could apply here. Another section states that officers shall not engage in any political activity when acting as an agent of the department, attired in the uniform, or displaying any insignia. And they can't use their power or authority in any manner, directly or indirectly, to aid any political party.
So whether or not the alleged actions of the officers were on or off the clock could become a factor here. And if those officers were out of uniform, the Metro policy analyst still questions if a command staffer helping craft a law could truly be separated from acting as an agent of the department.
I reached out to the Nashville Fraternal Order of Police, which declined to speculate on any policy violations since they believe the allegations are false, something many are hoping this independent investigation will shed some light on.
When there's concerns about what's being done behind closed doors, it unfortunately legitimizes a lot of the concerns that are already out there in the community about whether or not the police can be trusted to police themselves.
Kelly Avellino, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, we've gone ahead and called the code red for tomorrow, and I hate to say it, we're talking triple digit. Feel like temperatures.
Feel like temperatures, yeah. It's just going to be hot, a lot of moisture in the air, so it's going to be very muggy out there. So actual air temperature in the 90s, but then you factor in the humidity, feeling like above 100.
We should just cancel work.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm on board
I'd vote for that.
That's fine with me.
Let's get a poll question up on that.
Yeah, right.
I like that. Well, hey, if you have any work outdoors or just any fun that you want to do outside tomorrow, just make sure you're trying to take plenty of breaks and drinking plenty of all your electrolytes and everything like that, all that good stuff, because it is going to be hot. Just make sure you stay hydrated. We have heat advisories. I'm actually going to go back to that, Matt. We have heat advisories in effect for most of Middle Tennessee, most of Southern Kentucky, too. These are going to be from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. And heat index value, so what it could feel like, that's going to be pushing up to about 110 in a lot of these areas. Here in Nashville, that does include us, too. The far eastern side of our viewing area not included in some of those heat advisories, areas like Clarksville, Cookeville, McMinnville. Temperatures right now, they're in the 80s for a lot of areas still. Our typical high temperature this time of year is 90 in Nashville. We're at 87 right now, and it's 917. 84 in Murfreesboro, 81 in Tullahoma. It's also 81 right now up in Clarksville. Right now, again, 87 in Nashville. Pretty clear skies for us tonight. It's going to be a very calm and quiet night. There's a live look over Broadway, a calm night on Broadway right now, too. Radar is still showing all dry conditions for us. It is dry across Tennessee, dry across Kentucky. Up to the northwest of here, though, there is that cold front moving through. We have some tornado watches up there, also some severe thunderstorm watches. Several severe thunderstorm warnings going on up there right now. We're not going to have to worry about any of that for tonight, though. For tomorrow, we could see a couple of storms that try to work their way into our northern areas. This is mainly going to be for areas along north of Interstate 40 in that shade of green. That's that level 1 risk for a few strong storms for tomorrow. We could see a few of those that try to produce some strong wind gusts. I think that's going to be the main threat with any of those storms that can get going up there in those areas. So strong wind gusts will be the main threat, but we could see some of those produce some brief heavy rainfall too. So any of those more flood prone areas, especially those poor drainage areas, if you get caught up in one of those strong thunderstorms, it could bring in some heavy rainfall, might cause just a little bit of a flooding issue in some of those areas as well. And for Thursday, this is going to be Independence Day. So on July 4th, most of us in that level 1 risk, I think we're looking at another round of these strong winds possible. This is kind of typical for this time of year where we get some of these thunderstorms that develop with the peak heating hours, and they can produce some of those strong winds and brief heavy rainfall. I'm going to time all that out, though, right here on Future Track. So again, nothing of that for the rest of tonight. Wednesday morning, we're going to start out dry. Early Wednesday afternoon, we could see a few of these isolated storms that begin to develop, but I think it's going to get a little more active north of I-40 as we go through the rest of the afternoon hours. A lot of areas, especially if you're south of Interstate 40 tomorrow, you're going to stay dry. This is not going to be rain for everybody for tomorrow. In fact, most areas I think will stay dry. These are just going to be some isolated storms. And then around 10 p.m., this little second line is going to start to move into our northwestern areas. A couple of those storms, again, might try to just get a little bit on the strong side. Not expecting any widespread severe weather, but a few of those storms could produce some strong winds and some heavy rainfall too. This is 4th of July at noon. More showers and thunderstorms are going to start to develop into the afternoon hours. By 5 o'clock, a lot of that starts to clear out. And then as we go through the evening hours, I think we're looking a lot better. So the first part of your day on the 4th, I think it is going to be a decent chance for you, depending on where you're at, for some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms. For any of the firework activities, though, so anything later on at night, I think you're looking pretty good for that. And then we will see another round move through on Friday. That could start as early as Friday morning around 4 o'clock in our northwestern areas before that shifts a little bit through the east as we head through the rest of Friday. Friday is looking like a pretty good rain chance, though. Independence Day going to be a hot one.
Tonight, a judge delays sentencing in former President Donald Trump's New York hush money case after Monday's landmark U.S. Supreme Court ruling that presidents have limited immunity from prosecution. Trump lawyers asked to have the conviction thrown out or the sentence to be delayed. Prosecutors are opposed to the delay.
The Supreme Court ruling yesterday talks about the idea that, number one, you have to evaluate all of the prosecutions of a president while they're in office under the new standards, essentially, that they set to ensure that it's not official conduct.
Now, the prosecutor's case centers on Mr. Trump's actions as a candidate back in 2016. A jury decided that he falsified business records to hide hush money payments surrounding an alleged affair with an adult film star. Some evidence presented at the trial, however, happened during Mr. Trump's time as president.
In politics tonight, top Democrats are trying to decide what they want President Biden to do next after his debate performance. But they also want to hear from him first. Fox 17 News' Matt Gelka taking a look at the concern. And by the way, you can vote on this issue by scanning the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen.
Texas Congressman Lloyd Doggett became the first sitting Democrat to call for President Biden to end his campaign. The White House responded to the concerns Tuesday as the fallout from Biden's shaky debate performance continues.
We understand. We're not taking away from what you all saw or what the American people saw. We understand. It was a bad night. It is not uncommon for incumbents to have a bad night on their first debate.
It comes on the heels of famed Watergate journalist Carl Bernstein relaying accounts from anonymous sources close to the president describing a cognitive decline.
The Joe Biden we saw is not a one-off, that there have been 15, 20 occasions in the last year and a half when the president has appeared somewhat as he did in that horror show that we witnessed.
Democrats are getting more vocal as they wrestle with if Joe Biden should remain the candidate at the top of the ticket.
What I'm stressing is it has to be his decision. But we have to be honest with ourselves that it wasn't just a horrible night. But I won't go beyond that. I just want him to appreciate at this time just how much it impacts not just his race, but all the other races coming in November.
Some Republicans have called on Biden's cabinet to use the Constitution's 25th Amendment to remove him from office.
This was a wake-up call to many of us, a wake-up call, among other things, to the fact that it's well past time to invoke the 25th Amendment.
Texas Republican Congressman Chip Roy filed a resolution urging the vice president and cabinet to remove Biden from office. A vote on it would put Democrats on record about where they stand on the president's ability to serve out the rest of his term and a potential second. A new post-debate poll from CNN paints a bleak picture about how voters feel, with 75% of people saying a different Democrat would have a better shot of winning in November over Biden. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
During that story, we had a QR code linked up to this poll asking the question, in light of the reaction to President Biden's debate performance, what should his political future be? The results there on your screen, almost 300 people weighing in. 35% of those voting tonight say that he should be removed through the 25th article. 34.3% say he should end his re-election bid. 30.7% say he should run for re-election.
Looking ahead to Sunday now here on Fox 17, when our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, investigates Boeing. You can see our interviews with whistleblowers and the problems that are plaguing the aerospace company. See the showstoppers, Boeing's no-fly zone, Sunday, 5 p.m. here on Fox 17.
Pushing people out, the growing crime concerns, and what used to be a quiet part of Nashville transformed.
And not just a problem for
foods and winter.
Sofas and sectionals, dining rooms, bedrooms, mattresses, and more.
The B.F. Myers 4th of July tent sale. Plus incredible deals in the main showroom, too. Our biggest tent ever with more furniture than ever.
The B.F. Myers 4th of July tent sale.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Digging into the latest crime numbers.
This is the same neighborhood I was reporting from last week, where police say they had no choice but to shoot and kill a man that was running toward them with a knife. This is also where I spoke with several neighbors who say they're tired of seeing these communities continuously making headlines.
After months of reports of crime in Bellevue.
Bellevue residents attend a candlelight vigil.
There's been several Bellevue shootings in the last few months, leaving community members on guard.
I shouldn't have to worry about that in my backyard.
Ella Ruderman, who lives in Bellevue, says she's seen some of that crime firsthand. Her worst fears have now become a reality.
Because I'm not from Tennessee. I didn't grow up here. I've only lived here for a few years, so to me, I don't know if this is normal.
And while Fox 17 News found violent offenses in and around the Bellevue area is down in the first quarter of this year compared to years prior, if you look at it as a whole from 2022 to 2023, it's up. Last year, police logged more than 240 violent crimes. The year prior, nearly 190.
I just really hope that everybody takes it seriously and has conversations about how we can make the community safer.
But District Councilwoman Sherry Weiner says Bellevue is not at the top of the list for crime.
Is there more recently? Yeah, there have been some unfortunate incidents. But I'm not going to blow this out of proportion, and I'm not going to scare people.
Weiner says she's in constant communication with Metro Police, while also working with families and city leaders to tackle issues surrounding juvenile crime.
And we also have to look at our judicial system, because a lot of what we see that it's so frustrating to all of us is that somebody gets arrested and they are, brought before a magistrate or a judge or a referee, and they're sent home.
The low bond criminals.
These are issues Fox 17 has investigated profusely. This extensive reporting is on our website, fox17.com. Another woman I spoke to in this neighborhood tells me she left downtown Nashville due to all of the crime. She's frustrated now to see that some of that followed her here to Bellevue. For now, reporting in Bellevue, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
New tonight, it's something you normally think of impacting children, but adult bullying is a real problem, especially in the workplace. Joining us now is author Bill Eddy. Bill, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, what are the impacts that a bully can have in the workplace?
Well, they can give people headaches, stomach aches, make people not want to come into work, make people avoid certain other people in the workplace, and really lose their productivity. So people perform a lot less effectively if they're worried about a bully looking over their shoulder or down the hallway.
Well, what are some of the signs that a person is a bully, maybe something that managers should be on the lookout for?
Well, to me, one of the most important ones is that bullies make it personal. So you may be talking about a project or an issue or a decision, and they turn it into being about you. You're stupid, you're crazy, I don't like the way you look, the way you dress, your morals are terrible. And so they make it about you as a whole person instead of about the actual issue. And that's when you start to feel it. People physically feel like kicked in the gut sometimes just by what people say. And so that's one of the biggest signs. Also, when you see somebody blaming you for something they're doing, that's another big sign. We call it projection. They're saying, got to watch out for Bill. He's doing such and such, when in fact, they're the one that's doing that. Another characteristic is playing the victim. They're always saying other people are picking on them, when in fact, they're the bully. And one of the things in my book is I gave examples like that. So it can be pretty powerful.
So what is the best way then to handle an adult bully?
Well, I put 6 strategies in the book. First is just recognize that's what you're dealing with, because if you realize you're dealing with a bully, one of the big things is to realize they're not going to stop themselves. So you're going to have to do something, either assert yourself or get out of the situation. The second I call pulling the plug on the bully. And often there's something you're doing that assists them. And stop doing that. And one of the biggest things is bullies want to keep it a secret. And if you keep it a secret, you're enabling them. So pull the plug and don't keep it a secret. Talk to somebody, anybody, a family member, a friend, so you don't feel alone and isolated with that experience. Then think in terms of setting limits and imposing consequences. Now you can do that in a conversation yourself. You can say, hey, stop, cut it out. You can't talk to me that way, or I'm going to end this conversation. And then if they keep talking that way, then impose your consequences. But also organizations can do that as well in the workplace, that upper management can say, we have policies saying what you're doing isn't okay, so you've got to cut it out. Then educating others and letting people know some of the patterns and that bullies don't stop themselves, so we're going to have to do something. And the last is standing with others who are being bullied. So what you can do is say, hey, Joe, cut it out, or hey, Jane, cut it out, or something to get them to stop and leave someone else alone. So if a bully realizes other people are backing you up, they're much less likely to continue that way.
All right, author Bill Eddy, thank you so much for your insight tonight.
Thank you.
And we're going to start it out with an update on Hurricane Beryl. This is still a very strong storm moving through the Caribbean Sea right now, just south of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Category 4 hurricane, maximum winds of 150 miles an hour right now. Category 5 strength starts at 157 miles per hour, so still not far off of that. Last night, Beryl did hit Category 5 strength, now down to Category 4 strength, moving off to the west at about west-northwest at 22 miles an hour. And it's going to take that right over Jamaica, so it is looking like a right over Jamaica again. We could be seeing Hurricane Beryl move through as a Category 3 hurricane, so that's still some very strong winds, and then that track is going to push it over the Yucatan Peninsula and then up through the Gulf of Mexico and then further deep into Mexico as of right now, at least on that latest track. 97 degrees, our forecast high for tomorrow. We are code red because of this heat. Actual air temperature in the upper 90s, but a lot of moisture in the air too, so factor in the humidity, and it's going to make it feel like it is well into the triple digits. Could feel like it's about 110 or so across a lot of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. 95 on Thursday, that's the 4th, lower 90s for us as we head through the weekend. And then Tuesday does look a little bit cooler as of right now. And it's also going to stay muggy too. Dew point temperatures, that's basically a measurement of how much moisture is in the air. So the higher the number, the more moisture there is. And we're going to be up there. We're going to be in the mid 70s or so Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It is going to be very muggy through the middle and end of the week. Drops down a little bit though as we head on into Saturday and Sunday. I'll show you more on that 7-day forecast there in just a bit.
Also ahead, using AI to create child pornography, how the criminal justice system is working to keep up with new technology.
And continued fallout, the latest chapter for Rudy Giuliani.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, are... In Operation Crime and Justice, a Houston man is facing child pornography charges tonight after police there say he used AI to modify a normal picture of a teenage girl. Investigators say 30-year-old Roman Schaffner took that normal picture of the 17-year-old and created some explicit images. Last year, lawmakers in Texas on the state level amended their existing law to allow for arrests in cases like this. Now, they can also arrest you in Texas for making political deep fakes, but that is only a misdemeanor.
Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani has been disbarred in the state of New York. A New York appeals court found that he repeatedly made false statements about former President Trump's 2020 election loss. His disbarment is effective immediately. The former Trump legal advisor already had his law license suspended in New York over the same issue.
And tomorrow is going to be a really hot one for us. That is why we are code red. Heat index values pushing.
New tonight, making sure first responders and those dealing with an emergency are safe on mid-state roads. Tennessee has a move-over law that was designed with them in mind. Fox 17 News' Madeline Nolan tonight, riding along with the Tennessee Highway Patrol as troopers enforce it.
Well, I learned that while it may seem like common sense, a lot of people don't fully understand the law to the extent of the law, or may not know about the law at all. And that could very well be because a lot of people are just moving here to the state of Tennessee. But if you take a look here at the highway, you'll see kind of what I'm talking about. We don't have anyone pulled over to the side of the road right now, but if there was, you were supposed to move over a lane. And if you can't move over a lane, well, you're supposed to slow down. Now, during my ride along with the Tennessee Highway Patrol and Sergeant Russell Bernard, we followed these bright green help trucks around the city. Help trucks ride around doing exactly that, helping with crashes or even people pulled over with the flat tire. But what we did notice, again, is that while people get over when they see police, they don't always know that you need to get over for all emergency vehicles, including TDOT workers, as well as stationary vehicles with their hazards on.
This is it's state law, and we've had 58, actually after this past weekend, 59 vehicles of the Department of Transportation that have been hit since the beginning of the year, and that's way too much. 15 of those were our help truck drivers, and they are putting their life in danger every single day when these men and women go out onto the roadway to help protect our citizens and our traveling public.
During the ride along, we pulled over several cars who drove by a vehicle while it was pulled to the side, mainly warning them about the law that went into effect back in 2006. Now listen to this, pretty big. If you ticket it, well, you could be receiving a fine of up to $500. So it's definitely something that you want to pay attention to as you move forward. But as for this grant, well, they received $70,000 statewide from the National Department of Safety, and that is going to be for them to help promote and enforce the law better here in the state of Tennessee. For now, live in Nashville, Madeline Nolan, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Crisis in the classroom. Williamson County parents say school leaders are failing their daughter with Down syndrome and declined a meeting with them just because they brought an advocate. 11-year-old Tess Carter has an individual education plan, and her parents say that the school is not following it. They also say that she's actually regressing. When the Carter family went to talk to administrators, they say staffers kept them waiting for about 20 minutes before canceling the meeting.
It was very frustrating, and not only frustrating, but scary, because I even asked her, do you have our child's interests at heart? And she said, oh, 100%, absolutely. But then I said, no, you do not, because if you did, we would meet.
Wednesday on Fox 17 News at 9, you'll hear the district's response to the family as Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin presses for answers.
Setting off fireworks on the 4th of July is a big tradition for a lot of people, but in Tennessee, leaders are reminding us all to keep safety top of mind. Last year, fire departments across the volunteer state responded to 135 fires, 135, started by fireworks. And those fires caused more than $900,000 in damage. That's $900K. Talking just under $1 million. The state fire marshal's office is encouraging all of us to attend a free public fireworks show that is put on by a licensed professional.
Well, we want to know what you think. How much are you spending on 4th of July fireworks this year? The poll there on your screen, 356 people weighing in. 88.2% say nope, nothing. Gonna skip that this year. 3.1% say up to $50 and 8.7% say over $100. This poll live right now. To cast your vote, you can scan the QR code. It's right there on your screen. It will take you over to our X page, our handle at Fox Nashville, and we'll show you updated poll results tonight on Fox 17 News at 10.
I love that fireworks video going on, behind our pole. Brett, the big question is it going to be nice like that for fireworks, or is the weather going to impact when and what happens?
I think we're actually going to look out, at least as of right now when I'm looking at things. Tomorrow we could get some storms, very hot, and then Thursday, so most of Thursday, at least most of the afternoon, there will be the chance for storms. But I think by the time all the fireworks are going off, most of that should have cleared on out. And then another round of that is going to move through Friday morning. So it's kind of going to be right in between at least all the firework activity. So right now it actually is looking pretty good. I'll show you more on that timing and show you what it looks like on Future Track here in just a minute. I want to start it out with this though. We are code red tonight, and this right here behind me is why. It's these heat advisories that are in effect. This is going to be for most of the viewing area, most of Middle Tennessee and most of Southern Kentucky. We do have these heat advisories in place. These are going to go from 1 p.m. tomorrow to 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. Heat index value, so what it could feel like, could be pushing close to 110 degrees or so. So it is going to be a warm one anyway you slice it tomorrow. Actual air temperatures, those are going to be in the upper 90s. So combine the moisture that we have in place, that's really going to make it feel hot. So if you have any outdoor plans tomorrow, take plenty of breaks and make sure you stay hydrated out there during any of that too. Temperatures right now are in the 70s and 80s. Like I was talking earlier, 90 degrees is our average high temperature right here in Nashville. It is 950 right now, and we're just 3 degrees down from that. 87 is our current temperature right here in Nashville. Overall, a pretty good night for you, though. It is going to be a warm night. Still pretty clear skies, though. Not going to have to worry about any chance for any showers or thunderstorms. Areas to our northwest are, though, that cold front over there bringing in some severe thunderstorm watches, tornado watches, some severe thunderstorm warnings up right now as well. But we are not going to have to worry about any of that for tonight. As we head on into tomorrow, some of these storms will try to develop along it or north of Interstate 40. We could see a few of those storms try to get just a little bit on the strong side. No tornado threat tomorrow, but we are looking at the chance for some of those to produce some strong winds. Also, some brief heavy rainfall is going to be possible with those as well. This is Independence Day, so your forecast for the 4th right here, a level 1 risk for some of those strong storms for most of the viewing area. I think that's just going to be another day where we could see a few strong storms develop across parts of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. Futurecast not really showing much of a rain chance tomorrow morning. By tomorrow early afternoon, this is noon right here, we will start to see some isolated showers and thunderstorms start to pop up. Could even see another little round of that move through later on in the night. This is Wednesday 10 p.m. So those storms pushing in closer to the Clarksville area, more of our northwestern counties. And we could see a few of those storms again for tomorrow afternoon on into the evening hours. Just try to get a little bit on the strong side. No widespread severe weather expected. Here's your forecast for the 4th. Showers and thunderstorms will be possible as we go through the afternoon hours. You'll see, though, that coverage starts to drop off quite a bit for the evening hours on the 4th. So that's good news for all your firework plans, but then another round is set to move through as we head on into Friday morning, and then we could see off and on showers and thunderstorms continue for us as we go throughout the day on Friday. Mid-90s on Thursday, lower 90s on Friday, and we'll stay in the lower 90s through Monday.
Thank you, Brett. Well, the next time you comment on a Facebook or Instagram post, you may be training artificial intelligence. Social media companies such as Facebook and Reddit are allowing AI models to be trained using content generated by users, some of which say they've noticed comments that seem to be written by AI. Brazil wants none of it and just ban Meta platforms from training AI.
In consumer news tonight, just in time for your next campfire, s'mores, and ramen. I'm not kidding. Cup Noodles just debuted their new campfire s'mores ramen flavor. It's a limited edition flavor that combines their famous microwavable noodles in a cup there with a chocolate, marshmallow, and graham cracker sauce with many marshmallows to sprinkle on top as a garnish. This new flavor can be found online and at Walmart locations for a little more than $1. I have made it this far in life never having tasted a ramen, and I think I'm going to hold out.
I'm just fine staying that way too. I'm not on board with all that.
Oh boy.
Nope.
If you taste it, let us know.
Yeah.
Murrow Award.
In business news, the company that owns the popular DVD rental service Redbox has just filed for bankruptcy. It is nearly $1 billion in debt. Walmart, Warner Brothers, among more than 500 of their creditors. At the moment, it's unclear exactly how this will impact the number of Redbox kiosks that are out there or what they're charging for rentals. But we do know this, 9,000 of those Redbox locations have already been removed since the company was purchased back in 2022.
In the economy, lovers of Arizona iced tea have a lot to celebrate because it appears that their favorite drink is inflation-proof. Arizona Beverages, famous for their iced teas, said that it committed to giving customers the best bang for their buck, and the company says it will keep the price of their drinks at $1 for the foreseeable future. They want to help consumers battle rising prices elsewhere due to inflation. Arizona canned drinks have been 99 cents since the early 90s because of their production speed, shipping practices, and thinner cans.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
And we are starting things out in Code Red tonight, and this is going to be for that heat that we're looking at for tomorrow. I know it's summertime here in the South. I know we're going to get warm days, but tomorrow is going to be a really warm one for you. So if you have any outdoor plans, just take plenty of breaks, stay hydrated out there in this heat. It's going to start to feel hot very quickly as we head throughout the day. This model right here by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning showing us right here in Nashville with a feels like temperature of 95 degrees. So it's going to start out hot very quickly and only going to get worse as we head throughout the rest of the day. A lot of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky with feels like temperatures between about 105 and 110 as we head throughout the afternoon. This is the noon picture right here, and it's going to stay that hot throughout most of the afternoon. Finally start to calm down a little bit as we head on into the evening hours. And because of that, earlier today, the National Weather Service did put most of our viewing area with the exception of our far eastern counties. So everybody in that shade of orange under that heat advisory, that's going to run from 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon until 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. Heat index values could be pushing up to about 110 or so in a lot of those areas, including right here in Nashville. So that's why we're code red. However, can't rule out a couple of strong storms for tomorrow. We have that level 1 risk that is in effect for some of our locations north of Interstate 40. I'll show you more on that and some of the timing and the threats you can expect coming up here in just a bit.
Thanks, Brent. In Operation Crime and Justice, shattered windows and broken glass filled the driveways after several people in East Nashville dealt with car break-ins.
Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller now live tonight with some things that you can do to keep this from happening to your car.
Scott, Megan, we spoke with a security expert today who says that first things first. First, you want to remove any obvious valuables from your car, like this laptop. Then you want to obviously shut the door, lock your car, and double check to make sure it's locked before you head inside your home or any other place. Now take a look. We spoke with a few people that experienced a string of break-ins on Gwynn Drive and Maplewood Lane in East Nashville, leaving neighbors shaken up. Person who lives on Gwynn Drive told us it's about 20 cars, and she says it's the first time this has happened here since she moved here. Fox 17 News went to security expert Curtis Watkins to learn more about what he's seeing.
I would strongly recommend that people not store their firearms in their vehicle, because one thing that I do notice is that there seems to be more of a higher prevalence of property criminals. Your traditional property criminals are actually engaging in violent acts.
Fox 17 News asked Watkins if Ring doorbell cameras help, and he says they don't tend to deter people from breaking into cars at night, but he says that they can be used to locate the suspect after the fact. Now, we spoke with these neighbors, some of which were victims, and they said a few police reports were filed. Reporting live from North Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Staying with Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police make an arrest in a beating death. It started with a man trying to break up a fight in a parking lot here of Top Golf downtown. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live at Top Golf in East Nashville with more on what happened as well as some pleas for civility.
I talked to the family of the victim who tell me they're in disbelief. Metro Police say the victim was attacked right here behind me somewhere in this parking lot. They say he was trying to stop a fight between several people when he was punched and kicked. Metro Police say he was hit so hard that he later died. The victim has been identified as Ushmeh Dahl. They say he was inside Top Golf at a concert when the argument originally started. They say the group went to the parking lot, and that is when Metro Police say Dahl tried to break up the fight. The suspect who kicked the victim has been identified as Bishal Ray. Verna Wyatt, a victim rights advocate, is grieving for the family of the victim.
You know, you never get over the murder of a loved one. It's so unjust, it's so unfair, and nothing is going to make it better. Nothing.
She says the only thing that can bring some peace is justice, something the family is hoping for as well. Metro Police say Ray is being held without bond. They believe there might be more than one suspect. We'll keep you updated on the latest developments. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Please.
It's just scary. It's scary to think that it's so close.
In Operation Crime and Justice, Bellevue residents are on edge after a string of violent crimes pushing some community members out. It comes 1 week after an officer-involved shooting in a neighborhood. Several Bellevue shootings making headlines in recent months. So today, Fox 17 News looked into the Metro Police stats per district, and we found that violent offenses in the Bellevue area were down this past quarter compared to prior years. There was an uptick from 2022 to 2023. That's over 240 violent offenses last year compared to nearly 190 the year before.
I just really hope that everybody takes it seriously and has conversations about how we can make the community safer.
We are not at the top of the list for crime. We're just not. Is there more recently? Yeah, there have been some unfortunate incidents, but I'm not going to blow this out of proportion, and I'm not going to scare people.
Councilmember Weiner says in light of recent crime, she's working closely with Metro Police and other city leaders to make communities safer.
Tonight, members of the National Bar Association fielded legal calls free of charge in their monthly Dial a Lawyer program. Volunteers answered general legal questions in an effort to help people who can't afford an attorney. They do this the first Tuesday of every month. As we say, it already happened tonight, but your next opportunity is coming up. It's going to be on August the 6th, so 8/6. Mark some of these dates down on your calendar. After that, September 3rd, so 9/3. Beyond that, October the 1st, so 10/1. On that, the November one is going to be the 5th of November, so 11/5. And then the December date is going to be December the 3rd, so 12/3. Mark those down again. They do it every first Tuesday of the month from 6 to 8. Always you can call this number, 615-242-9272.
Not a crisis in the classroom. Williamson County parents say school leaders are failing their daughter with Down syndrome and declined a meeting with them just because they brought an advocate. 11-year-old Tess Carter has an individual education plan, and her parents say the school is not following it. They also say that she's regressing. When the Carter family went to talk with administrators, they say staffers kept them waiting for about 20 minutes before canceling the meeting.
It was very frustrating, and not only frustrating, but scary, because I even asked her, do you have our child's interests at heart? And she said, oh, 100%, absolutely. But then I said, no, you do not, because if you did, we would meet.
Wednesday on Fox 17 News at 9, you'll hear the district's response to the family as Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin presses for answers.
Looking ahead to Sunday now here on Fox 17, when our parent company Sinclair Broadcasting investigates Boeing. See interviews with whistleblowers and the problems plaguing this aerospace company. Don't miss the showstoppers, Boeing's no-fly zone, Sunday at 5 p.m. here on Fox 17.
Another obstacle why one judge says a specific ban from President Biden could do irreparable damage to multiple states.
Nearly 22 million children living in America rely on schools for their meals. Fox 17 News and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, are in national news, yet another setback for President Biden's green agenda. In Louisiana, a judge says the president's decision to temporarily ban liquefied natural gas exports would critically hurt several states.
Well, Fox News' Grady Trimble is in Washington with more on the judge's decision to halt the ban.
A federal judge throwing cold water on another Biden administration policy aimed at curbing climate change. The Energy Department tells Fox it disagrees with the court order and is evaluating next steps after the judge temporarily blocked the department's pause on new liquefied natural gas export permits. More than a dozen Republican-led states sued the DOE over the ban, arguing it hurts their economies, which rely on the oil and gas industry, and puts national security at risk.
We now know we're going to be able to curtail some of the mischief that the Biden administration is producing.
Despite the latest setback, President Biden is making his climate agenda and the transition to green energy key pillars of his re-election bid. Today, visiting a new emergency operations center in D.C., getting a briefing on extreme weather events like Hurricane Beryl and tying them to climate change.
Ignoring climate change is deadly and dangerous and irresponsible. These climate-fueled extreme weather events don't just affect people's lives, they also cost money, they hurt the economy, and they have a significant negative psychological effect on people.
Former President Trump on the campaign trail and the debate stage is contrasting his energy policy with Biden's, saying the U.S. shouldn't limit fossil fuels but should produce more.
We're ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had.
Fox News polling consistently shows voters have a lot more trust in Biden than Trump to handle climate change. But when asked which issues are extremely important to them, voters put climate change close to the bottom of a long list of issues. In Washington, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
New indications of an expanding Chinese surveillance operation. I'm Christine Frizzell with the shocking satellite images that show just how close they are to the United States.
Earlier in our newscast, we told you about our X poll asking the question, how much are you planning to spend for 4th of July fireworks this year? 371 people weighing in, 87.9% say nothing, 3.2% say up to $50, 8.9% say over $100. Each night, look for a new poll on our X page that you can participate in. We'll continue in coverage on another sign of China's aggressive spying campaign against the U.S. New satellite images show how old security posts in Cuba seem to be expanding.
Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell tonight breaking down what seems to be prompting these changes.
The warnings have come from the sky in the form of an alleged spy balloon. On the ground in the multiple cases of their purchases of U.S. farmland, often near military bases, and from top intelligence officials on Capitol Hill.
The CCP's dangerous actions, China's multi-pronged assault on our national and economic security, make it the defining threat of our generation.
Still, intelligence officials are sounding alarm bells about aggressive actions by China, illustrated in these surveillance images showing 4 electronic eavesdropping stations at the doorstep of the United States in Cuba.
Proximity is a really important thing when you consider signal intelligence or any type of intelligence operation. The southern United States is filled with air bases and military facilities. It's filled with space launch facilities. It's also filled with a lot of our research and technology parks as well.
Matthew Funiole is the author of a new report from the Center for Strategic and International Studies that details recent activity at the Chinese spy bases, including infrastructure upgrades like a new dish antenna just installed in January. Antennas can be used to track aircraft, ships, and missiles, some now exceedingly close to the U.S. military base at Guantanamo Bay.
What do these spy bases tell us about just how emboldened China is, in 2024?
If China is thinking about a potential confrontation with the United States, it needs to learn about those facilities, learn about the way that the U.S. operates in the region, and signal intelligence facilities are one of the best ways of doing that.
Cuba is also, remember, where just a few weeks ago, Russia brought one of its nuclear submarines and hosted the largest overseas intelligence site for the Soviet Union back during the Cold War. With new indications, it remains an enthusiastic partner for those who want to try to challenge the U.S.-led international order. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Tomorrow is going to be another hot one for us, and that is why we are code red. Today was hot too. We had a high temperature around 96 right here in Nashville. Actual air temperature tomorrow, I think it's going to be about 97, so pretty similar. It's going to be more humid though, more moisture in place for tomorrow, and that is going to make things feel even hotter than the actual air temperature for tomorrow. Because of that, National Weather Service earlier today went ahead and issued this heat advisory that is now in place for most of us right here in Middle Tennessee, along with our counties in southern Kentucky too. That heat advisory is going to run from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, so in effect throughout the afternoon hours tomorrow, and that's for heat index values pushing up to about 110 for a lot of these areas. So that's what it could feel like, around 110 for a lot of spots throughout the afternoon. Temperatures right now, they're still in the low to mid 80s for most locations, a little bit cooler over here further to the east. Upper 70s in Cookeville, 79 right there in McMinnville, 84 in Dickson. It's 84 also in Columbia, 79 the current temperature up there in Clarksville. Here in Nashville, a calm and quiet night for us. Really no bad weather for us to worry about tonight. tonight. Radar not able to pick up on any rain in Tennessee or Kentucky. Up to our northwest, though, we do have still that cold front that's moving through, taking on some severe weather to those areas up there. Severe thunderstorm watches, tornado watches also in effect for areas like Illinois, but that is going to stay well to the north of us for tonight. For tomorrow, we do bring in a chance for a few isolated showers and thunderstorms north of I-40 mainly that could try to get a little bit on the strong side. I think the main concern with some of those will be the chance they could produce some strong gusty winds. That's fairly common for this time of year with those summertime storms. Also, some brief heavy rainfall going to be possible too. I will say though, the good news, no tornado threat it doesn't look like with this round that's possible for tomorrow. And a similar setup for us on a Thursday as well. A level 1 risk for most of the viewing area as we head throughout the day on a Thursday. So we could still see more scattered showers and thunderstorms on Independence Day, and some of those could try to, again, produce some strong gusty winds. As far as the timing goes on all this, not expecting any of this through the rest of tonight. This is tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. We're going to be off to a dry start, but early in the afternoon, a few isolated showers and thunderstorms that will be possible. Tomorrow is going to be one of those days, though, where a lot of areas stay dry, but we're just going to see those very pop-up summertime showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon hours. So if you get caught up in one of those, it could bring some strong winds, also some brief heavy rainfall as well. And then we kind of have this little secondary round later on in the day. This is 10 p.m. on Wednesday, moving into our northwestern areas. A couple of those storms might also try to produce some strong winds and again some brief heavy rainfall too. Moving on into the 4th of July, this is the noon picture right here. More showers and thunderstorms are going to start to fire up through the afternoon hours. Thursday by 5 o'clock though, I think a lot of that has come to an end, and then through the overnight hours, this is late in the evening, Thursday at 10 p.m. Pretty good on future track. Not looking at much of a rain chance by the later part of Thursday. So for any of your firework activities, firework shows, I think they should be pretty well if everything stays the same as what it's looking like right now. But a second round does move in on a Friday morning into our northwestern areas, and we'll keep that rain chance around with us off and on throughout the day on a Friday. So here's your hour by hour daily planner for Thursday. 2 p.m. lower 90s, a better chance for showers and thunderstorms as we go through the afternoon hours, and that's going to start to get a lot better as we head on into the later part of the evening for all those fireworks shows. So 95 are high on Thursday, 92 on Friday. We'll stay in the lower 90s as we go through the rest of the weekend. 20 to 30% chance for a few showers and storms Saturday and Sunday.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A brilliant sunrise welcomed the morning at the Grand Canyon. The skies near San Antonio, Texas are orange thanks to dust from the African Sahara Desert, and these altocumulus clouds hovered over Tennessee. They are mid-altitude clouds often found in groups or clumped together, and typically one part of the cloud is darker than the other.
Listen to Off the Radar, new episodes every Tuesday. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
You can see more stories.
A new Consumer Product Safety Commission report shows 42% of 4th of July injuries last year came from burns.
But as Fox News' Sean McGill reports, being near loud explosions causes a completely different health issue.
If you plan on starting your 4th of July weekend with a bang, health experts warn to do it with proper protection. Fireworks cause the most injuries each Independence Day, including burns and hand injuries. But being too close to the explosion could cause another type of injury.
So fireworks are loud, oftentimes impulsive sounds that can permanently damage your hearing. You can impact your hearing just with one single exposure to a loud noise like a firework, or being exposed to loud sounds over time.
Jillian Huberts, a clinical assistant professor at Purdue University, says loud noises like fireworks can damage the part of the ear that sends sound to the brain. Huberts advises using various protection to keep your ears safe.
So you can use insert earplugs as well as over-the-ear muffs. You can actually wear both the earplugs and the ear muffs if you really want to maximize how much you're protecting your hearing.
Health experts also advise to stay further back if possible.
It's pretty safe from about 500 feet away. And so that is just under the length of 2 football fields. Oftentimes we're closer at a fire when we're setting off fireworks. So just making sure that you put your hearing protection on to make sure you're really lessening the potential damage that could be happening.
And at the end of the event, watch out for signs that could indicate hearing issues.
If you have any ringing in your ears or temporary muffled of your hearing, that could be a sign that you did some damage to your hearing. So you can always follow up with an audiologist to see if that is the case or not.
Sean Langell, Fox News.
Headed to the pool or the beach this holiday week? I'm Liz Bonus. What we all need to know that might put us at additional risk for skin cancer. How you can prevent it, just ahead.
Hey there, I'm Jennifer Waddell from Fox 17 News this morning. One of the stories that we're working on for tomorrow involves the new recommendations when it comes to low-dose aspirin and folks who take it every day. A lot of people who still take this medication when it's not needed could be putting themselves at risk. So we'll tell you what doctors say you should keep in mind and maybe do instead. Coming up Wednesday on Fox 17 News this morning. I'll see you then.
In your health news tonight, 6 factors that may increase your risk for skin cancer.
Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus tonight with that and what is needed for early intervention.
Hey there, hello to you. A lot of us likely to spend time at the pool or the beach this holiday week, and a recent reminder from the CDC and the Cleveland Clinic saying that sun protection is especially critical if you have a few skin cancer risk factors. Now, this graphic provided by the Cleveland Clinic shows 6 of the top ones. They include light-colored skin, tanning beds used over a lifetime, working or playing in the sun, family history of this disease, a history of sunburns, and moles of irregular shape. We talked with Dr. Elizabeth Munich of Ohio's Dermatology and Skincare Associates to find out what we need to know.
We talk about the A, B, C, D, E. So you look at the mole. If it's a perfect brown circle, those are usually fine. But if one side looks really jagged and it's asymmetric, we worry. We look at the border. If that's really rough, we worry about that. We look at the color. Multiple colors is not good. If it's just one uniform color and it matches all your other moles, that's usually fine. But if it's a little jagged, we worry about that. D in diameter, if it's bigger than the size of your pencil eraser, then we probably need to look at that. And E has been added for evolving. If it's changed over time, we need to look at that.
Dr. Munich is also one of the few in the country now using this kinder, gentler way to remove skin cancer before it goes below the surface of the skin. It is a non-surgical alternative to other methods, also referred to as IGSRT. Here's a bit more about this gentle cure.
That is superficial beam radiation. So that is going to treat that skin cancer in about 30 seconds. You do have to do multiple visits, but over the period of about 6 to 8 weeks, we can gently get rid of that tumor.
Now, you do need a confirmed diagnosis of skin cancer for this treatment, and it does need to stay topical. So getting those moles or skin changes checked out early really matters. In most cases, this procedure is covered by your medical insurance plan, but you may need prior authorization. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
So, Brent, is it oppressive from the jump in the morning, or does it build?
You know what? It's going to start really quick, and it's just going to get hotter and hotter as we head through the rest of the day. Tomorrow afternoon, I think we're talking about heat index values pushing around